It's a loser leaves town match between Greg Sankey, SEC Commissioner, and Tony Petitti, Commissioner of the Big Ten. Winner makes new rules for the CFP. The loser goes home and counts their money. I think that would be awesome. Put it on Netflix. Let's get it going. Sankey is... I would probably put my money on him. He's a bigger guy. The guy with the Big Ten looks kind of small. Looks like he's fit, but kind of small. I think I would probably put my money on Sankey. We're back for another episode of No Longer Credentialed as our two new sponsors, which is always good to see. This week, we get into our own half-baked idea segment called Insane Sports Things We'd Pay Money to See, which eventually evolved into what ideas we'd pitch Netflix for content.
If it was an athletic department in the actual Big Brother house, I mean, man, that's gold to me. And we're talking about NIL era, revenue gen. Like, imagine the amount of money you could raise if you're just like, you know what? Here's our athletic department. Here are our teams. You get to see everything.
Our area of the country experienced a devastating weather event last week, and we watched a Crisis Communication 101 class happen right before our eyes. And it may be safe to say there were some folks who didn't stay awake for the lectures.
I think from a transparency side of things, the best thing you can do as an organization when you're trying to nurture your audience or your fan base or the community is just come out and say directly, this is what we're dealing with. You know, do we have outdated tech or do we have a lack of funding to hire union workers? Or what is it? Or, you know, we have X amount of poles that are broken down, and this is the process it takes to repair them.
Right.
We are in a dire situation, and this is what we're working towards. Just give us some detail about what's going on instead of giving us just generic PR answering without stepping up to the plate and wearing it.
This is the true story of two washed-up sports guys who chased the dream, private flights, championship rings, running sideline to sideline on per diem and adrenaline.
We gave our 20s and our 30s to the industry, pulled off miracles that were never in the job description. In return, low pay, long hours, and we still got cut from the team.
This is about what really happens behind the badge. The burnout, the bad bosses, the dream job that didn't love you back, but also the lifelong friendships, the chaos, the holy shit stories you couldn't make up. And somehow, despite everything, you'd still do parts of it all over again.
This is one for the ones who lived it, loved it, hated it, and still kind of miss it. For everyone who's ever asked, how in the hell did we survive that? We're two former sports insiders with more than 40 years of experience and more than enough scars to make fun of it all.
And just enough trauma to start a podcast instead of going to therapy.
I'm Brandon Barca.
And I'm Andy Boggs.
And this is No Longer Credentialed. We once had access, now we have opinions.
Unbelievable.
We are back, people, for another episode of No Longer Credentialed. Boggs, how have you been surviving Snowmageddon in Nashville? It's been pretty crazy out there. I think we're in day 6. Temperatures back to below freezing. We've got, I think, still 80,000 customers in Nashville's area that have no power. It's a disaster zone. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before in Nashville after the ice storm hit last weekend.
Yeah, man, it's been something. And we've been lucky. Other people have not been as lucky. And, you know, they're letting people know about it on social media. So it is a social media 101 crisis communications class happening in real time right now. Barca, I know you have family that have been impacted by this. I mean, we know tons of friends who've just had power restored or don't have power yet. And there's a lot of mad people in Nashville. Lots of mad people.
You don't have power 6 days going in right now. Who knows how long it's going to take to fix? Obviously, the city wasn't prepared for these type of conditions. We've got people staying in hotels. I can't imagine how much that costs.
Yeah.
And there's no end in sight right now.
Yeah.
And, I know it's a state of emergency. And I've got family staying here and we're all safe, luckily. It's impacting kids with school. I'm sure they're eventually going to go virtual. But I don't know, man. I'm curious from your end. I've been
Hmm.
following everything online. People are mad, like you said. What would you do from a PR perspective? This is crisis comms to the heart. And again, like
Yeah.
I said, it's a state of emergency here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one of the surrounding power companies, I think, has done a really good job about communicating just what's happening, and it's been a really consistent message. I think from the very beginning, it'd be like every 2 hours they would have an update, and it would be a legit update. Hey, this is how many outages we have. This is where we are. It was just a constant information faucet. It was like a faucet of information just coming every 2 hours. You knew it was coming. And then every day, their CEO would have a 5-minute video just talking about what's happening, what the state of everything is. It was just being updated. And it just seems like that the people in Nashville feel that's just not happening with their power company. And after seeing some of their social media, I can't really blame them. There was a 24 to 48 hour stretch there where they're just sending out pictures of people out in the field and no real updates and data about what was happening. And that's not good, man.
And people aren't dumb. They can read between the lines.
They can.
And when information isn't coming across as being transparent, that leads to a lot of distrust from your customers in the area. And I know this doesn't relate really to just the massive destruction and loss that's happened here, but on a way smaller level, I think of at sporting events when we would have delays. I know you didn't have this in hoops at all because you're in an enclosed arena, but I think of baseball. I've worked soccer or football. I mean, we had that Temple game at football years ago that got delayed for several hours at nighttime. And a lot of times, or at least places that I've experienced, for some reason, are never comfortable with relaying constant information other than, hey, we need you to exit the facility, go to your cars, and this is what the safety measures are. But no sort of updates regularly. And sometimes fans are left waiting 2-3 hours. And I'm not over exaggerating. I've seen this happen. And running the social media channels, you're just flooded with people that are mad. Like, can you tell us anything? And while people up top are concerned that weather's ever changing every moment, but to me, the transparency of just telling your audience what's going on, we're still in a delay, nothing's changing, the radar's saying this and that, we'll keep you updated the same way like a local news station would do when they have nonstop coverage. And I think that's important. And there have been places where I've had to almost like beg to get those type of updates that we can put out, and it's so slow moving.
Yeah, if you're like a social media person that's kind of entry level and you're just handling the day to day, you don't have the juice to just go out on your own and, say what needs to be said. I mean, if the people above you are not telling you that you can do that stuff or not advising you on what to post, you're kind of stuck. And it's a leadership issue that kind of starts at the top when you come to these type of situations. What came to mind, Barca, were you at the '08 SEC tournament at the Georgia Dome?
I
when
was.
the tornado hit?
I was.
The SEC did an amazing job. They were on top of that from the very beginning. They had to think on their feet, where we're going to play games. You got to leave the building. For some reason, that popped into my mind. But they really did a good job of this was in 2008. This is probably the very beginnings of Twitter and things like that. And they were all over it. And they ran as smooth of a tournament as you possibly could run. I mean, Georgia had to play 2 games in one day. They won the tournament. They had to play it at Georgia Tech. They had to scramble, find a place to play. They were just thinking about what they had to do. And then they also communicated all of this almost in real time. So that kind of came to mind of someone who kind of did it right.
You hit the nail on the head. Leadership is, the most important part of this, and they have to be on board. And from my end, what I would always try to do is, relay the messaging and the comments that were coming in, but also I would pitch my case, and then it was up to supervisor or the head of comms or ops, and then they would have to decide, and then I would just have to live with it. But you're right. I think one of the main things, and this being a PR person, when you go into any major event or release or announcement, you can't just be thinking about this is what we're going to do and how we're going to release everything or announce everything. You have to be thinking about best case scenario, the absolute worst case scenario. What are contingency plans?
Yep.
It's the same way I would do on social. If this game goes to PKs at the end of this soccer match, how are we going to be in position to cover it? You always have to be thinking that way. And it seems here in Nashville that, I don't want to make assumptions, but some people were asleep at the wheel. And I think from a transparency side of things, the best thing you can do as an organization when you're trying to nurture your audience or your fan base or the community is just come out and say directly, this is what we're dealing with. Do we have outdated tech, or do we have a lack of funding to hire union workers, or what is it? Or, we have X amount of poles that are broken down and this is the process it takes to repair them.
Right.
We are in a dire situation and this is what we're working towards. Just give us some detail about what's going on instead of giving us just generic PR answering without stepping up to the plate and wearing it.
Yeah. It also, this doesn't completely apply, but it kind of does. I mean, let's say you have a good team and you're preparing for what could happen 3 weeks down the road. Let's say that you have a really good basketball team and you may go to the Final Four. You have to start thinking and planning for that kind of stuff. And, people are like, oh, you don't want to jinx what's happening on the field or on the floor, but that's just your job. You have to start thinking about 2 steps ahead. What could this really, really look like? And I think that's where they were lacking on the planning, and then they're lacking on the communication about what they're actually doing, and not a good recipe to have people trust, frankly, what you're going to be doing in the future. So they got some work to do ahead of them.
And even in situations where you're understaffed or overwhelmed, still just be proactive with the messaging. This is like 101 type stuff. And
really
people
is.
just fail at it time and time again. And then your channels just get bombarded and it gets worse day after day and people get more pissed. And it's not going to go away by running from it. Now you've got local news doing investigative reporting.
Yes.
Thankfully, like, we need to get to the bottom of this if nobody's telling us anything that we need to hear right now. I mean, people's lives are in jeopardy. People have died here in the region. People might be losing homes, trees falling on them. Pipes freezing and bursting. We're not talking about like just cleaning out your fridge and spending a couple $100 on that. We're talking about life-altering things that are going to be happening.
Yeah.
Or have been happening.
Yeah, it's like the head in the sand mentality. And I mean, some of the things that, man, they were posting on social media were just so tone deaf. And I don't know, man. I just don't understand how it got to that point. Or they don't have the right people in place. Are they seeking help from a PR firm, or do they have an expert PR person on staff? Or I don't know any of those answers to those questions, but I would think moving forward, they probably need to have a good one for situations like this. I mean, you run a power company. We get bad weather around here, tornadoes and straight line winds, I guess, knocked out power for a lot of people a couple of years ago. And you just have to be prepared for these types of situations, and I just don't think any of that stuff was there. I don't mean to keep piling on to them, but they got some work to do.
People just want to hear and see action.
Yep,
so it's simple. It's like, don't show me a picture of a neighborhood of somebody working, on a pole and all of that stuff. We understand what those workers out there doing right now on the front line is amazing and extremely, some sub-zero temps on some days. But just communicate with the public up front. Just tell us what's going on. This isn't complicated. And again, not to beat a dead horse, but I've seen this time and time again in athletics as well. And people just like to put their head in the sand and run with the narrative the PR spin narrative that they want to run with, without addressing, like, what is your audience saying right now? What are you hearing from them? What are you learning from them? Are you listening? But not only are you listening, are you responding?
Yep. Yeah, because the public and people just sniff out that kind of stuff. They can sniff it out. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. I don't have power, but whatever I'm seeing on social media doesn't match the urgency of what I'm dealing with here. And it's not good.
Sponsored by...
Today's episode is brought to you by, is your football head coach fining college athletes for being late to practice, even though those athletes aren't technically employees? You might just be entitled to compensation. That's where our friends at Prime Fine come in. We counterfine your hypocritical head coach for violations that actually matter. If your coach is responsible for any of the following, we can help. Refers to himself in the third person, $2,500 violation of team rules. No one is above the program. Wears his sunglasses indoors at donor luncheons. $5,000 misconduct, but just slide it under the door in a bag. No receipts, coach. Charges players for missing practice while scheduling practice during mandatory study hall. Coach is going to be placed immediately on administrative leave. Finally, does your coach say there's no plan B after losing half the roster to the transfer portal? Look, your ego is writing checks your body just can't cash. And now, if you act now, we'll throw in a free seminar forcing Captain Culture to sit through things that would get you fired from Shoney's, but coaches do every single day. So go ahead and sue our ass, coach, because we'll sue your ass too. That's Prime Fine. Accountability works both ways.
Barca, I just can't. I can't. This fining thing, it's really comical, man. It's so funny. The whole thing should be a soap opera. Like NCAA should maybe we'll get to this later, but they should have their own production crew. People would watch this. This is like a ebb and flow of incompetency and drama, and I don't know, man. How does this even happen?
I think it's awesome.
I mean, for us, it's just unbelievable.
More chaos. I just want to see shit continuing to hit the fan. Finding players. I want to see players' reactions. Who knows where it's going to go, but it's the perfect soap opera that we've been following and tracking now for the last couple of years of NIL.
These kids are not even employees. How can you fine them?
That's what's great about it.
It's what's great about it. Prime, man, love them.
Prime Fine. Prime Fine. Prime Fine.
All right, Barca, we're also sponsored by Contract Circus to handle all of your legal needs that you know won't work out in court. We'll at least make it entertaining. We at Contract Circus believe in the 3-ring philosophy. Yes, we know it's old school, but we'll come in, set up the OG 3-ring circus, and provide you and your team with wild entertainment while you write NIL contracts that are as good as the confetti that rains down on our brave motorcyclist after he completes the Globe of Death in the center ring, of course. We'll also provide a clown posse with red noses, state-of-the-art water-squirting lapel pins, and giant invisible ink pens to sign these contracts to keep 5-Star John from leaving mid-season. Who would leave a clown-signed contract? And now, we'll also throw in the service of Mr. Poupon, the world's best paper airplane designer. Well, he'll take those worthless pieces of paper and fold them into high-flying stealth bombers that you can throw off any parking deck or athletic building. If the wind is in the right direction, those Johnnies could flow right into the office of the team that is tampering with your player a few miles down the road. Although it's not worth anything, we at Circus Contracts understand how fun it is to make paper airplanes. Circus Contracts, keeping players in the NIL era with contracts may not be entirely legal, but at least you'll have fun with it.
Hey, that's keeping in line with Circus Contracts, the circus around finding players. Maybe we just need to build a big top for athletic departments, and that's where they need to be housed. And we'll get the bearded lady and some elephants and the trapeze and I don't know. I think people would pay. It's worth the price of admission.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun. More fun than probably these compliance people are having right now with these contracts that don't really mean a thing. So, gosh, it's so fun to watch all this stuff happen.
I just liked hearing you say the words, Mr. Poupon.
Yeah, Mr. Poupon.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Podcast.
You get it.
Okay, on to the next segment. We just watched Alex Honnold scale a skyscraper in Taiwan on Netflix, where over 6 million people watched. Barca, have you seen Free Solo?
I have not, Boggs.
Dude, you need to see that movie.
Is that a Star Wars movie?
It sounds like it,
Is
doesn't
that Return of the Jedi?
That's right.
Because they try to free Solo in that.
That's right. So our segment is called Insane Sports Things We'd Pay Money to See. And so what would we like to see in the sports world? So I'm going to start off here, Barca.
We've got a lot of half-baked ideas here.
We do.
We're going to have fun with this today.
We're kind of, I guess, borrowing from that segment. But my number one is this one. It's a loser leaves town match between Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, and Tony Petitti, commissioner of the Big Ten. Winner makes new rules for the CFP. The loser goes home and counts their money. I think that would be awesome. Put it on Netflix. Let's get it going. Sankey is, I would probably put my money on him. He's a bigger guy. He works out a ton, or at least he used to. I don't follow him anymore on social media, but he used to be this big workout guy. I don't know. The guy with the Big Ten looks kind of small. Looks like he's fit, but kind of small. I think I would probably put my money on Sankey.
Yeah, I think the odds rolling in right now is Sankey is a heavy favorite.
Yeah.
But let's make it a grudge match. They've been publicly going back and forth, sort of, and you see all the reports about how many teams need to be in the college football playoff field, and there was no decision.
None.
Something's got to give here. So let's have this celebrity boxing match. And I think in each corner, you got to have somebody holding like the spit bucket and cheering on. You've got probably the ACC in one corner and the Big 12 in the other. Or like, hey, you guys don't need the commissioners. You don't need to be involved in this actual match. You're just going to hold the spit buckets for them.
Yeah. Well, they're the only ones making the rules now. That's what happened. They passed, the new rules committee or CFP basically said, okay, Big Ten, SEC, you decide. And so they can't agree. I think majority of the conferences like the 16-team format, and I think they would all be in Sankey's corner, training them and things like that. It's college sports, it's never going to get fixed, but it's just another cog in the machine of ineptitude. So
I'm wondering who the fans cheer for. If it's like everyone's behind Mike Tyson against Jake Paul, but do you have a thought on that?
It'd probably be the SEC. I mean, they stick together. I mean, you go to games and they're chanting SEC, and I think for the most part, SEC teams root for other SEC teams, unless it's like your diehard hated rival. I think people would probably be on the side of Sankey. I think he would probably win just because he's a bigger guy. But let's make this happen. This would be really fun.
I think you're right. SEC crowds would totally control the environment. I've seen a football game at the Big House, and it was underwhelming for over 100,000 people. It felt more like a wine and cheese crowd.
Wine and cheese. Yeah.
Don't send me your hate mail, Big Ten, because I love the Big Ten. But, hey, I'm just being real here. Put the stakes on it,
Yeah.
Winner decides. I mean, I even think back to, like, the movie Over the Top, which is too old for most of our audience. Maybe not for some of you Gen Xers, but that was an arm wrestling match that determined the custody of a child.
Hey,
and so,
let's go.
If we need to do arm wrestling, boxing, whatever we need to do, let's do it the Lincoln Hawk way and just have them in some sort of competition. Everything's settled. Everybody sees it live. Boom, done.
Yeah. And then the rules get made. All right, Barca, you're up.
So with my ideas, I'm trying to take some recent headlines in the news and just trying to find fun ways to incorporate them into programming, like you said, and whether it's on Netflix or streaming somewhere else. And so I saw this one. Coco Gauff wasn't thrilled about the cameras catching her smashing her racket after she lost in the Australian Open. She thought her outburst was private, but backstage cameras captured it all, and it went all over online, ESPN, everywhere. Gauff said, certain moments I feel like don't need to be broadcast. Well, you know what, Boggsy? I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Not on my channel and my network. I say more cameras.
Yeah.
ATP, WTA, Tennis All Access. Let's do a CBS Big Brother edition. You're a fan of that show, weren't you?
I was at one point, sure.
24/7 access. I'm thinking it's like The Truman Show, the movie. I always kind of wanted to do that back in the day with the college athletic department. I knew it would never get approved, especially on the university level. But it was like taking the HBO Hard Knocks version, but to the extreme. No filters.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if fans got to just click on your athletic department every day and they could see inside and listen to your marketing meetings or senior leadership or anything that happens throughout a department?
Yeah. We talked about that a lot, didn't we?
I think it would be incredible.
Yeah. I don't buy the whole you don't know there's cameras everywhere, man. Like, you are an athlete in 2026. There are cameras on you 24/7. And I don't care that she threw a racket or banged a racket. Good for her. I mean, showed emotion that you're mad that you lost, and that's just part of the deal, you know? And I don't think you can complain about access.
If it was an athletic department in the actual Big Brother house, I mean, man, that's gold to me. And we're talking about NIL era, revenue gen. Like, imagine the amount of money you could raise if you're just like, you know what? Here's our athletic department. Here are our teams. You get to see everything.
Everything, yeah. Which, Barca, leads me into my next thing that I would like to see. This is a serious one, and this one I'd like to see Netflix do, and maybe we've talked about this, but follow an AD from start to finish when they're going through a coaching search. The calls to the firm, the list of names in their desk drawer of their dream coach, the meeting when the coach is fired, meetings internally when you know a change is going to get made, the donors that are involved, meetings with the new coach at secret locations. I want all of it. I want all Big Brother involved in a coaching change. I'm just wondering when this is going to come. When you know that a coach is going to get fired and you start documenting, let's say it's a football coach in October, you know, your first meeting with your deputy AD is like, I just don't think this is going to work. Like, we're losing money. No one's come to our games. We got players, parents complaining, da-da-da-da-da. And you just document it from the very beginning until the end, until you hire a new coach. I mean, that's the content people want to see, man.
I think it would be crazy to see, too, just to see how much the search firm does. And,
it would be awesome.
How well the AD is during this process on trying to find a new leader. NFL teams haven't gone that far, but at least it's pretty much just a regular thing where, heck, we just had I think a third of the league trying to hire new coaches, to where they're announcing coach visits and keeping you updated just from a name standpoint. No more details really than that. But I like this, man. Give the people what they want. We want to see the madness, especially when we're talking about what just happened with Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss to LSU.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Oh, I can't even. It could be on prime time. You could run that thing on network TV. They would watch that thing like crazy. We're all looking for new content angles, and this is just sitting there. Do it.
Another one that I have that's really similar to that is the transfer portal, those 2 weeks, and just seeing the madness behind the scenes of the coaches trying to shape their roster. They're losing players. They're trying to pitch players and recruit players. That's got to be done. Like, it's a no-brainer. Maybe we'll see something here in the next year or two. But if I was a coach, I'd be like, and I was really good at pulling in recruits. You know, I think of it back in the day, I would be back in the war rooms the day or two before National Signing Day for football when it was in early February. I don't even know if it still is, because I try to block out those memories, because signing day was the absolute worst day of the year. But I would see the day before when coaches were trying to flip players. This is pre-NIL. And it was insane. They'd be in their war room and just passing off the cell phone and saying, hey, let you talk to this guy, and trying to pull in like a 4-star or 5-star to a place that typically didn't get them. And every coach is passing the phone and trying to speak in a tone that relates to that 18-year-old. And it was extremely entertaining, and it was wild. And they'd get off the phone and you'd see like, yeah, we think we got this guy, or whatever it was. But there was so much drama and nobody would ever see it.
I mean, I'm all for it, man. Let's do it.
So let's go back to the headlines. Patrick Reed is leaving the Live Tour and will regain his PGA membership in 2027. So how about this to pitch? Shark Tank, but the Sharks are the old PGA golf guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's live golfers pitching their way back onto the PGA Tour.
Dude, let's do it. That would be great.
They're walking in one by one saying things like, hey, I'm bringing name recognition, major experience, and I promise I will never sue the tour again. Can you imagine these guys just like groveling and begging to get back to the Sharks? And the Sharks, they only care about why you left. And so, the Sharks probably end the show saying something like, hey, we like you a lot, but we're going to make you sit out another year until 2027.
I think it's great. You could have a famous, like, comedic guy. I think of Steve Harvey. He's got some Judge Steve Harvey show, or at least he did for a little bit. It could be so funny. It could be funny and serious if you wanted to make it that way, but that would be really good television. The Golf Channel needs stuff. They just got spun off. They need some content. Barca, let's call the people down at the PGA headquarters and get this done.
You know what? I think your idea of making it, instead of a Shark Tank, I like the idea of making it like a Judge Judy.
Yeah. I think it would be incredible.
Just going through all the evidence and the live golfers making excuses and getting shouted at by Judge Judy. And then there's the final decision. And then you can even do like People's Court with Judge Wapner way back in the day. Man, I'm dating myself. And at the end, you get each reaction right outside the courtroom of the plaintiff and the defendant and who won and who lost. And the bailiff's taking them. This is effing great, man.
Those are real interviews that I want to see. A lot of these sideline interviews, I don't want to see it. But that would be a great interview. Patrick Reed coming out of there. Guess I'm just going to have to live with 2027.
We're disappointed with today's outcome, but I can live with this decision.
Yeah. Man, that would be really, really funny. People need to listen to us. All right, Barca, I'm up next, and this is one that we've talked about a million times, maybe just sitting around, but let's do a legit storytelling tailgate show from people who have been going to games for years. I'm talking about tailgating for games, for college football games. Like, why are they there? How big are their operations? Are there special menu items at the tailgate that have been made for generations? Are there good luck beverages? Is there a drink that you made after you beat the number one ranked team like 5 years ago that you make every week? I mean, tailgates where people met and then spent the rest of their lives together. Barca, where is this show? It's kind of like a True South. I don't know if you've seen that show on ESPN. It's incredible. Yeah. Meets tailgating. Hell, Barca and I will host it. So let's just get on the phone and make some calls. But why are we not doing this? Maybe it's done on YouTube and I just haven't seen it. I guess that's where probably everything lives.
There have been books written with traveling to every SEC town back in the day and exploring the culture. We know how crazy fans are, especially in the South. It's just got to be like an extremely unfiltered, crazy look. There are some wildly entertaining people out there. And so this needs to be done. And then I think also, we talked several episodes ago about, hey, Boggs, you need to enjoy tailgating. And I don't think you've actually tailgated since you retired from sports. And I want to see something of you experiencing it as well.
Yeah. Hey, just SEC Network, just call me. I'll go everywhere. We can go together. We'll just go and talk to people. And, I mean, honestly, it would take like probably 1 or 2 phone calls to the fundraising people in each athletic department, and they could probably give you 20 people that they know that have been coming to games for years. Like, this is a wild example. We played at Georgia a long, long time ago, and my family was there, and they were tailgating because they live in Georgia. And I remember walking around, kind of easy stuff. I don't know why we haven't seen any of that yet.
I can see you out there with your comms mind, like all the other super nerds out there, doing game notes for the tailgates.
Ooh, yeah.
How many flat screen TVs there are, how many tents were serving sliders.
Yeah.
How many bottles of liquor. What's the total compiled age of all of the fans that are tailgating in each tent and ranking them. I know you're just going to be looking for stats and interesting stories.
Got to have the data, man. Got to have the data. That True South show is such a good show, and it's so well done.
It is.
And it could be done at tailgates. It really could. I mean, across America, not just the South. I mean, the South does it pretty well, but can you imagine the tailgates in Indiana this fall? Can you imagine? They're going to be nuts.
They do it from a sense of a really good storytelling perspective. It's very well done, like you said. I want to see just the unfiltered madness.
Yeah, you want it raw.
You
People
might
jumping
even
on
include
tables.
the frat houses and the sororities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a whole nother show on game day alone.
It would be.
People passed out in the grass in front of the house.
It really would be.
Don't even make it to the game.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
Yeah, I mean, we would see students show up in the second quarter and leave at half. Granted, they were watching really bad football. So, I mean, good for them for even showing up.
We also saw students showing up to games with books. So I don't know.
We did. We really did. Oh, shout out to those guys, man. Good for you. Get there before. I mean, you remember seeing before like really big basketball games. I mean, there's line out the door. We opened the door. I don't know. When did we open doors?
90 minutes, probably.
90 minutes. So we opened at 90 minutes, and half the crowd is like have a book in their hand studying. Legit. And yeah, so you got those stories to tell too. And there's not a lot of things that are going right with college sports, but those are maybe some of the stories that you can tell. I guess from my point of view, the storytelling part that actually could actually kind of resonate with people about actually being kind of good and good for people's hearts and souls and all that good stuff.
All right, in the headlines, the San Francisco 49ers, near and dear to my heart, they said recently that they're looking into the power plant injury theory that's been floating out there. And experts out there say a theory suggesting an electrical substation next to the 49ers practice facility causes injuries. Some say it's not backed by research, but NFL players are now starting to raise questions. So I've got a couple different show pitches here for you, Boggsy. Let me know what stands out to you. Okay, first, let's do it sort of like Mythbusters, but instead of urban legends, they're testing whether the 49ers are being injured by an electrical substation next to the practice facility. So it's just done in the Mythbusters format, if you've ever seen that show again.
Yep.
So we want to find out, is it real or not?
Yeah, I think that'd be it'd be science-based. Probably get to the heart of that. People probably watch that.
But you know what? For another show option, the Niners might just be in the market for a new practice facility. So let's do like a House Hunters. Yes.
Yeah.
If this ends up being true,
let's
tour practice facilities with the 49ers. And I can just see them saying like, oh, I like this place. It's got natural light, but I hate the substation right there.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. Them putting that stadium there, like for people who are not familiar with, they call them the San Francisco 49ers. That's not in San Francisco, and it's a long way from San Francisco. I almost should call them the San Jose 49ers. It's just
Santa Clara, isn't it?
It's Santa Clara. It's just not a good place for a stadium. It's like just off the side of the road, You saw it. You were with me when you saw it because
I've been there multiple times.
Played a game San Jose, and you fly into San Francisco and you drive to San Jose. You're like, oh, that's the 49ers stadium. What is it doing here?
Not a lot of land availability out there. So,
man, Candlestick was in such a cool place because if you flew in to the airport and you drove into San Francisco, it's like right there, and kind of makes me think, could they have not figured out a way to build it where Candlestick was? And honestly, too, having a Super Bowl there, if you're covering that, that's brutal. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's no place for you to go. I mean, you staying in San Jose? You're going to stay in San Francisco?
Yeah, it's not the ideal spot to have, like if they have in Nashville now, when the new stadium opens up, I think we're like a year and a half away from it being finished, or maybe even closer. The season after next is when it'll debut. But just having downtown where people can congregate and party and have fun is just, it makes, from everything I've heard, makes the Super Bowl experience way better.
Yeah, they should really pick like 3 cities or 4 cities for the Super Bowl and just never, they're going to expand it though because, Nashville's getting a dome. Chicago wants a dome. So you have all these. It'd be kind of fun to have one in Chicago, but if they put it in Arlington Heights, that's like a suburb. Like there's not a lot going on. But man, Santa Clara, brutal place to have big events like that. It's just hard to get to.
Not ideal.
No, not at all.
I saw a baseball game at Candlestick when I was probably like 5 or 6, and it was pretty cool, man. It was chilly off the bay,
Cold.
though. Everything they say about it being windy and cold, it was exactly that. And
Yeah.
so,
Like it's July, and they're like people are like bundled up. It's 40 degrees, blankets. It's pretty crazy.
the only other one I had was Squid Game, which 49er survives the season.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Instead of prize money, the goal is making it to week 18 with both hamstrings still attached.
Yeah.
And there can only be one winner at the end, and who's going to survive on the roster, because the Niners roster was pretty thin this year. And
It was.
I can just hear them saying, they told us there's no evidence here of these injuries, but 3 guys went down during walkthrough today.
Okay, Barca, I'm going to stick with the idea of the cameras following people around inside of an athletic department. But shadowing a marketing game day crew or a media relations professional for a week before a big game would also be a lot of fun and super insightful. And like we mentioned with Delaney last week, the academic support team during the portal, no edits, nothing, just let it ride. And you could kind of see, what it would be like to be one of these people. And it's a whirlwind for like 5 days. It's like a hurricane. If you're Indiana and you're hosting Ohio State at your place, I mean, come on, man. That is a tough, tough gig.
Is this just you positioning again to have cameras around you for a big week?
Sure. I mean, I would do it. But I know a lot of people in the business who would be really good at it. They'd be really good to have a camera with them. And it wouldn't be about them per se. It would just be about all the things they have to deal with on a weekly basis. Like, why do support staffers just kind of get lost in the shuffle? I mean, it is about coaches and players, but it's also about the other people that have to make sure everything happens, that the game actually happens. And, I mean, game day people are the same way. I mean, how do you choose the music? And, what are you going to do on third down? And, all that type of stuff is kind of cool. I mean, there's a segment of the population out there that think that stuff is very interesting.
I would put it on like YouTube, and I would just have it if they're following this staffer, like you said, marketing, comms, any of these areas. And it would just be one of those really long form, uncut, like 4-hour type videos on YouTube, which back in the day would be sort of called a vlog, but it wouldn't be chopped up and edited like a vlog. It would be more like seeing just things in real time and interactions and stuff. And believe it or not, there are people out there that will watch this stuff. And so, we can go back and talk about how teams should be reshaping their YouTube to fit the current model on how millennials and Gen Z view content on YouTube, which is the second largest search engine part of Google, right, in the world.
Yep.
And they watch stuff like this. They just want to see what it's like, but they don't want to see like a 2-minute cut up. And so they want to make it real and natural. And so, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this is a rant.
Okay.
This is an event that's already streaming. Man, I'm going to be such a curmudgeon here. Gosh, you're going to have to get on me on this one. How about this idea, NFL? A Super Bowl without commercials.
Wow. You don't like the commercials?
Worst part. I put the volume down. Don't care.
Gosh, dude. Man, I like those things. I think it's like as creative as it's kind of creativity at its best these days. I mean, these guys are spending all this money on these ads, and I mean, some of them suck, but some of them are really good.
You would think that's the case if they're creative and a lot of money spent. But for me, and I'm extremely jaded in this area, so most people aren't like me, I see them as basically the lowest form of comedy. It's who can make some stupid joke or quip in 30 seconds or a minute or make some sort of statement, and it's got to be so over the top. It's like watching the Disney Channel, some of like the teen shows. If you have a kid out there that watches them, and it's like who can talk the loudest and act the most absurd within 30 seconds to get across a couple punchlines. And to me, I'm like, I feel like our audience is smarter than that. And I can sit into some of these rooms and be like, man, these agencies, man, you can pitch some better stuff than some of this shit. And to me, it's just insulting. And I'm to the point where I don't even watch them. And see, again, I am just...
You are so jaded. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just so bad. And it used to be a big thing when we were growing up and be like, okay, what are the commercials? Doritos is doing this. Pepsi's doing this. And now it's just like, I think it's been done for so long.
Yeah.
I don't think people really have good ideas. And they resort to, again, the lowest hanging fruit to try to make people laugh. And hey, look, all season long, no disrespect to Jake from State Farm, but let's talk about the State Farm commercials this year. In the past, I was like, I'm not saying I'm a fan of them. I'm like, okay, I like the angle they're going for. This year, they just packed it in. And let me read you. These were the angles that whatever agency they're using to come up with this came up with. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the leadership of this captain, Detroit Lions defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, but getting that captain, a literal sea captain.
Oh, I've seen that commercial. Yeah.
So the framework of this is all set up as like, it could either be this or that. It's like one of the 3 basic templates that commercials do for comedy now.
Yeah.
And to me, it's insulting. But in this one, it's like, hey, it could either be a captain of the football team or a sea captain. I'm like, that's not even funny. That's not even good.
Yeah.
But how about this other one? Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. I like it. They're continuing it. It's the continuity of it's tying all these commercials together. It's like needing the protection of this guard, Kansas City Chiefs guard Trey Smith, but getting that guard.
Oh, that's the crossing guard. Yeah, I remember that
That's
one.
Kevin Barnes, a crossing guard from Franklin Elementary. I mean, I'm just like, in no point in no world, I'm like, oh, that's so funny. A crossing guard is playing the role of an offensive lineman. I don't know. The whole thing's just blatant to me. No disrespect to Jake, man. I guess that probably rules us out for a sponsorship on this show.
Yeah, probably won't get it from State Farm.
Probably Jake's still going to dap me up. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel about almost all of these commercials. It's just so contrived, and they're all just trying to get to a punchline. And 9 out of 10 of them are just trying too hard. And you're right. There's some really good, clever, or smart ones that you see, but I feel like it's all watered down with everybody just trying to be jokey jokester.
I will say, though, if you have a Super Bowl party and there's 10 people watching the game, or, there's some people that don't follow football, and it's just unless they're playing squares.
That's the way to do it. Squares.
It's just kind of a bonding experience, I think, for the people in the room to watch the commercials, And so I kind of like them for that. I mean, I'm a big Super Bowl party guy. If I can go to a Super Bowl party, I'm going to go. It's like my excuse once a year to eat the worst things that I could possibly put in my body. And the commercials just kind of add to that experience. And so to me, that's kind of where I am. It's more of an experience thing more than a content thing. And I will say that the State Farm stuff, I mean, I'm a State Farm customer, so like I would think that probably 10% of my bill goes to Jake. And, if you could cut those a little bit and cut my rates, I'd probably be a little bit more excited. But, yeah, to me, it's more of an experience thing for people who maybe don't like to actually watch the game, and keeps them involved in what guys like me like to do. Like you and I would be watching the game, but there's some people that wouldn't. So I'm a fan. I will say I'm a fan.
Hey, I used to love Super Bowl parties. I love 7-layer dip.
Best.
I'm wrist deep all day in that thing. But what I found later on is the more people you get there, the more people are having conversations.
That's right.
Throughout the game. Right. So if your team's in the game and you're invested, I'm like, if the Bengals or Niners have made it, I'm like, I just can't deal with all the chatter. I'm locked into the game. But even if my teams aren't in it, I started realizing there's so much chatter that you really can't lock into the commercials unless you just like blast them at this point. And I don't know. I just think about it. Again, you're getting a literal sea captain. There she blows.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. They could definitely be better. There's no doubt.
That's such a crazy situation. I never thought I would see a sea captain on a practice field.
It's just, honestly, too, this day and age, the amount of money that people spend on ads like that we actually have to pay for. We pay for it in our rates. We pay for it in our grocery prices. This is old man rant. But, like, just cut it back a little bit, man. Like, I would rather save money when I have to go spend it at your place than have to watch your goofy commercials. Maybe that's capitalism 2026, but I can't deal with it. Okay, so here's the next one, Barca. A basketball punting contest on who can kick a basketball into the stands. This is for coaches. The highest. The winner gets to tamper in the portal. How many times have you seen, in your experience, a coach just go ballistic at a practice and just launch a ball into the upper level?
A few times.
A few times, right? And I just think it would be kind of cool. What if we just videoed it and then we just had a contest before every game? Like, the coaches, like, we'll just have a bracket, you know? And the two coaches before the game, they just punt the ball into the stands and see how high it can go. I mean, there's all kinds of strategies. You got different balconies, different levels at each arena. Let's try that.
I like this. Even if these are just like YouTube shorts of coach to coach meltdowns.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just going around the league each week and you're showing.
Yeah. This happened at practice at Ole Miss this week.
It's just a jump around show.
Yeah.
Jump around show.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I always like the jump arounds.
I want to see the meltdowns. I want to see the rage after the punting of the basketball. I like the bleeps. I like the cursing. Let's have a lot of close, tight shots on the players while this stuff's going on.
Yeah.
Make sure your cameras are in the right spots, people.
Yeah. All right, Barca, what do you got next?
So in the news, and we're going to start rolling through these a little bit quicker because we've got so many of them, and there's only so much time you guys are going to want to listen to this pod. So
yeah.
Here we go. College Sports Commission, CSC. Gosh, we love them. They formed last year to monitor and enforce the terms of the House NCAA settlement. They are now looking to build out its investigative unit, looking to hire more jobs, including investigator, investigations analysis, and investigations counsel. The CSC currently has 11 full-time employees, and they are ramping up. So here's my pitch. It's basically like The Office, but instead of a paper company, it's the College Sports Commission.
Yeah.
They were created to monitor and enforce college sports rules, restrictions on NIL, roster limits, revenue sharing, but they don't get any actual work done because they have zero power. Can you imagine? It's like, we're hiring all these spots and people are reviewing all of these NIL deals, but none of it matters.
No. To me, this sounds like a perfect situation for Contract Circus. Send the people at Contract Circus in to work with the CSC because everything they're doing is not enforceable in a court of law. So that's why they can't enforce any of their rules. It's so crazy, man. Contract Circus.
I mean, don't you want to see what CSC is doing day in and day out? I mean, it would just either you've got the person that's working around the clock to get everything approved.
What's happening. Yes.
But then also looking like none of this shit matters because it's the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
And then you got other people that realize it doesn't matter and they've got 100 different deals sitting on their desk and they're eating Doritos and playing paper football and they don't give a shit.
I don't know if you've seen recently, there was a guy I saw on social media today. I think he was at Virginia Tech where he basically documented for 90 seconds how he got tampered with. And that is what's happening now. And there's no teeth on what these people are trying to do to enforce these rules. And so this guy even mentioned that there were coaches from other schools that came and watched him play in person. And they're talking to his parents and other family members to try to sway him to, take more money in the portal and go to their place. I mean, it's happening. I mean, Dabo just called out the guy from Ole Miss. I mean, it's just a wild, wild west, man.
CSC seeing all the news and like, we've heard your feedback.
Right.
And we are beefing up our staff to do absolutely nothing.
They can't do anything. It's like the NCAA. They can't do anything.
Man.
It's like the kid transferring to Miami from Duke. Duke can't do anything. to enforce his contract, because then it means you're actually paying him to play football instead of paying him for his name, image, and likeness. It's a circus, man. Circus contracts.
Basically Dunder Mifflin in Scranton, in my opinion.
It really is.
Let's just get this show done.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one.
All right, dude. I got one. I would pay to watch a basketball player post a 30-20-20 game. That's 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 20 assists, or possibly a 56 point, 16 rebound, 15 assist game. Oh, wait a second. That's Nikola Jokic. I had to throw that in there. It makes me wonder what it would look like if his name was Ronnie Smith from Kansas City. So, question for you, Barca. Who is the leading scorer in college basketball right now?
James Worthy.
Exactly. There's nobody. The sport is so fragmented, and honestly, people don't really care. That's something I would pay for, is like actually entertaining product. And there's just not a lot of entertainment right now. Unless, if you're into the sport for competition and things like that, I get it. But as far as just the actual product and how good kids are, and I don't see it. And I'd like to be able to see it. I'd like to be able to spend money to go watch a college basketball game where I actually know the people that are playing. And man, I sound like an old man, but I don't know, man. It's just one of those things that I just wish that we had that.
It's almost unwatchable. You can't name the players anymore. I think it started back in one and done.
Yeah.
And it's just slowly gotten worse over the last however long, decade. And it's gotten to the point now to where I'm only watching until the NCAA tournament. Hopefully that doesn't happen with college football, and it probably won't, because their ratings are through the roof right now. So the two really aren't comparable. With what's going on right now with just all the transfer portal and players jumping back and forth, and nobody kind of knows who the players, like you said, the leading scorers are. I mean, that's something I would have always known. These are the top 5 best players in the league. And I watched it some last year when Flag and Knipple were playing on Duke. I enjoyed that.
It's just not, it's kind of a big nothing burger. I hate to say it. I mean, I would rather watch the NBA 100%.
Oh, no doubt.
All day, every day. And, I mean, Boggs from 10 years ago would not have said that. Granted, I was working in college basketball. But even back then, 2015, you had Marshall Henderson. You had guys, you had pretty big names that were playing. I mean, Ben Simmons and, guys you knew that were going to be really good pros. I just don't really know if those guys, they're out there, obviously, but you just don't. They're just not publicized correctly, or the product's not. I don't know what it is.
Well, I think the publicity is part of it, because if you look at the NBA draft class this year, even past like Flag being the top pick, there are legit 5, 6, 7, 8 players that could be really good. And I'm just like, I wasn't watching Rutgers last year, and I wasn't watching a lot of those teams.
Or Baylor, or
yeah. And so I don't know. I don't know where that falls. If that's on the networks, if that's on the leagues, as far as promoting these big names and these players within highlights and all that, and really individualizing some of these players, maybe that'll help. But right now it's just non-existent. And it may be sort of that way, at least on the broadcast level, when you're watching, if you're watching the First Takes, I'm thinking of all the big news shows.
Yeah.
Because the ratings are, I'm guessing, a lot lower, college basketball. And so people don't feel like it's the conversation even worth having right now. So I don't know. They got a lot of problems.
Well, yeah, and there's also, we spoke about this offline, the personalities in the sport. There's only so many John Calipari's and Rick Pitino's and Jerry Tarkanians and, people like that. The coaching part of it, Jim Boeheim
is big.
Jim Calhoun and Billy Donovan and, Lute Olson. I mean, guys that were just kind of legends, and you kind of tuned in to see them. Those guys are gone, and no one's kind of stepped in there to kind of take the reins. Also, you could say it on the broadcast side. I mean, Dick Vitale's you would watch a game just to listen to him. Who else besides Dick are you going to turn in to watch? I mean, I'm not tuning in to watch Jay Billis talk. Bill Raftery's probably a guy I probably would pay attention to, but other than that, man, there's just not a lot. It's just kind of like, hey, here's the product. Go watch it. If you want to watch it, great. If not, no big deal. That's the way it kind of feels to me.
There's no quick fix, I don't think. I don't know, man. I think the sport, hate to sound over the top, but I think it's in trouble, man. It's got knocked down once or twice in the boxing ring, and we're wondering if it's going to get back up because
their ratings are so low. I think women's basketball outrates them in a lot of places. You know, if UConn, South Carolina plays on ABC on Sunday, they're going to be a pretty big crowd that watches that game on television.
Think about how big it was, like Big East Monday night, and the SEC would have the prime game on Tuesday night, and all throughout the week. And it was a big deal, and there were primetime games, and everybody knew they were on, and they were must watch. And
it's just not like that anymore. They've lost it. Hopefully you can get it back, because it's a good product when it's going pretty good. It's fun, but it's really hard to watch these days.
You know about this headline, so I wanted to put it into the plot of a movie. Rutgers athletics budget deficit top $70 million for the third time in 5 years. I don't even know what to say about that, but
it's incredible.
Athletic director Kelly Zinn is quoted as saying, regardless how we slice this thing, it's got to get better. She's optimistic about future years and thinks this is, the worst that number will be. But you sit here and you look at Rutgers' numbers the last few years since 2021 in football: 5-8, 4-8, 7-6, 7-6, 5-7, with a 12-33 Big Ten record during that time. So if we're just burning money, if we're just throwing it away, this is going to be an old school reference, but let's just pitch this: Rutger Athletics, but it's the movie Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. Nobody has seen this out there. But if you're not familiar with it, Richard Pryor plays a guy who inherits a massive fortune, but only gets to keep it if he can spend $30 million in 30 days and have nothing to show for it. So the same applies here. Rutgers, let's make this Brewster's Millions movie, Rutgers Millions. And I just want to see you guys
Rutgers Millions
burning effing money every single day. 70 million. Do the math on what that is for 365 a year. So
wasn't it like over 500 million they've lost since they've joined the league? There was some huge number.
It's insane
that they've lost. And then it's like there's so many layers to that, because you have maybe academic people on campus thinking, what are we really doing here? Why do we have these teams here? It's the State University of New Jersey, though, so you probably have to have some of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, but to lose that kind of money makes me wonder where it's all going. I mean, you're getting $60 million from the Big Ten every year. It's not like you don't have a television deal. Like you're just not drawing, or your sponsorship's bad, or people are just not showing up to games. I mean, football for them has been decent. Greg Schiano's back, and he has them somewhat competitive. I mean, they're not winning conference championships or anything, but they're winning 6 or 7 games a year. Where does it stop? Where does the president say, guys, I just don't think we can do this anymore?
It's like the movie Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Rutgers, they're getting out of, I think it was a Lambo, and Jim Carrey.
That's right.
Hand's like, hey, you see this IOU? We're good for it. Rutgers right now just going to the university, and everyone else just being like, you see this $70 million deficit? It's okay. Yeah. We got this IOU. Here you go. Put it on our tab.
Yeah. When I saw that number, I couldn't even believe it. I mean, I could, but I couldn't. How are they losing that kind of money when other schools that don't have nearly the TV deal, they don't have those type of deficits?
I think what's happening is you're finding that teams that are wanting to compete in the NIL era but weren't equipped to. So they're trying to stay relevant or try to get to that standard. And we've been part of that before. And you know what? Like, some places it might not be possible, at least yet. So maybe this is just the bottom, and maybe we'll start to see Rutgers trending up. I feel like good things are coming. I mean, they couldn't lose, another 70 million next year, could they?
Yes, they could. Yes, they could.
All right, I'm just going to roll through these real quick.
Okay.
Here we go. Rapid fire, because I just saw these headlines. Ex-Tennessee coach Derek Dooley is running for Senate in Georgia. Dooley has never held elective office before. He was widely seen as a failure during his 3 years as coach at Tennessee, compiling a 15-21 record before he was fired in 2012. So here's my pitch. We've got so many coaches and former players now that their next answer is basically, I'm going to run for office. And most of them don't even get past the announcement. And we've even seen this with TV personalities. Hey, I'm thinking about running for governor, or, it's just all over the news. It's kind of the easy thing to say. And I think some of them think that their name holds a lot more weight than it actually does. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do for former coaches or players or media running for office. We're just going to do the Last Chance U version. Instead of JUCO football players, it's failed coaches trying to enter the world of politics.
That's awesome.
If you can't win in the SEC, why not try influencing democracy, people?
Yeah. At least Dooley had those orange pants that people liked. That's probably the only thing they liked from him. Like the losing, he's literally the losingest coach in Tennessee football history. He really is. And, being at the school up I-40 from them, we kind of enjoyed having him there.
We did.
That was kind of fun. But yeah, he had the orange pants. That's about the extent of probably Vol fans and how much they liked him.
Hey, you know what? Can't run a football team, but let's get him in there as a senator.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, the qualifications are all there. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Coaches, hey, keep putting your name in the hat. Keep trying to run for office. I'm enjoying every second of it.
Yep.
Another pitch. With all the madness of the transfer portal, as we talked about last week, reportedly up to 30% of college football players tested the market earlier this month. So let's make it a reality show, a popular one, going back to Netflix. The transfer portal, but it's Love is Blind.
Oh.
Players enter the portal. They can't see their coaches, the facilities, or the logos. All you can hear is the voices talking back and forth. They commit sight unseen. Then the reveal happens, the door opens, the logo drops.
Man.
You see the depth chart, and suddenly it's something like, this is different than what I imagined. Or
that is awesome.
I love that connection we just built. Like, let's just turn it into a Love is Blind reality show.
Dude, that would be incredible. Let's do that.
And here we go for another one. Front Office Sports also said that college football's billionaire era is officially here, with Mark Cuban outrageously spending for Indiana's NIL on their way to the national championship this year. Let's set this up. Every billionaire donor out there right now has to earn the right to be able to spend their money in NIL. So before Cuban can fund Indiana's roster, he has to go through the NFL scouting combine.
Wow.
So all these billionaires, let's see in the combine, and then based on performance is going to determine how much these billionaires can contribute to teams. I mean, look at Cuban out there. He's got great vision, but his lateral quickness just isn't there. I mean, hey, I'm just looking for pure entertainment.
That would be fun.
Make these billionaires do something.
Yeah, that would be really fun. It just gets to a point where are they going to say, okay, I'm not going to spend that kind of money anymore. My return on investment is just not what it should be.
And finally, here's some things I'd really pay to see. This relates more to our actual show. A college AD has to live on an entry-level salary.
Yes, dude. Yes.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Sometimes you just need to be humbled a little bit.
That would be incredible.
The next one. A head coach has to run the team's social accounts for 1 week.
Wow. I don't know if that would be safe.
They're having to deal with everything behind the scenes, all the requests, the content being made, writing copy for every sport, around the clock and everything. I just, sometimes people just need to live in the shoes of someone.
Yeah.
And in this case, for a week, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And a final one. This one falls right in your area, media relations, press conferences. We're going to have a press conference after the game, but the coach is going to have to answer questions from their own athletic department staff.
That could be a good one. I wonder what some of those questions would look like.
Nothing is off the table here, folks.
Man, maybe we get some ideas from our listeners.
Can you imagine some of the questions you'd want to ask after some games and you knew you could never, ever say it to coach?
Yeah. It could be like, hey, why did you sub in this guy with 5 minutes to go? What were you thinking? Guy hasn't hit a shot in 3 games.
What? Have you not looked at page 33 of my notes?
Yeah. Or like, I don't know. Like, why are you playing a zone defense against the best 3-point shooting team in America? Don't do it. You know?
Unreal.
Yeah. There'd be a lot. Mine would probably be all game related. Like, what were you thinking?
I don't know. Sometimes let's just, have coaches answer. It could be, hey, coach, I know you're complaining about the attendance at tonight's game, but have you seen the marketing budget?
Yeah.
And have you seen your salary?
Yeah. Yep.
Something to think about. So we'll see. Do we think any of these shows are actually going to happen?
No.
I think there are ingredients for a couple, though, that
There
I
are.
wouldn't be shocked down the road if it happens 5 to 10 years with the way we're going with streaming.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Time to wrap it up.
And that's another edition of No Longer Credentialed. Thanks to all of you listening, and if you like it, tell a friend and give it a 5-star rating on your podcast app of choice. Don't forget to check us out on social media at NLC Pod on X, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, keep grinding.